Welcome back as we talk Dallas Cowboys here with Andy Newberry, Jonathan Hull. The Cowboy defense, a lot of no names, but some of them are going to quit being no names. I think J.J. Wilcox is emerging as a safety, and Durant as a linebacker. I think he played almost every snap the other day. So this unit, it was the laughing stock.
Yeah.
A lot of people have called it one of the worst defenses in professional sports history last year.
Yeah, and it's with a lot of the same names has emerged as at least something you can count on to get stops. Now, they are giving up a little bit too much probably in the run game at times, but they're still getting stops. They're making the tackles and they're making the plays when they need to. The defense is a lot better with Rolando McClain on the field as well. And talk about a career
that was
resurgence.
proven. A lot of the big yardage they got gashed for the other day was the few plays that he missed.
Yeah, and he's a difference maker. He's great in pursuit. He's shown that. Listen, he was a top 10 overall pick when he came out of Alabama, and a lot of people felt like he was a sure thing. And for whatever reason, it didn't work out for the Raiders. It didn't work out for the Ravens, but it's working out in Dallas right now.
Is it just me, or is the coverage been a little better?
It's been better.
Especially right off the line. They're not giving up the quick open, and sometimes they're making a quarterback hold the ball a little bit.
Yeah, you saw that towards the end of the game with Ryan Fitzpatrick, where, in fact, that was an overtime, the overtime drive for the Texans. The reason they didn't get a first down on a 3rd and short is because they made Patrick hold the ball, and that allowed the pressure to get there, and he let go of a really bad pass. And yeah, I think the biggest thing that the secondary has done, though, is they're tackling extremely well. Whenever a receiver does catch the ball, there's not a lot of yards after catch.
I think you pointed that out the other day, and I also thought maybe Carr had been a disappointment for the most part since he's been in Dallas. But a lot of times I was watching Hopkins the other day, and that's the guy they wanted to get the big play. Andre Johnson's more their screen guy, and there were several plays where Fitzpatrick looked his way quick, but Carr had the coverage, and he had to pull that down and do something else.
Yeah, Carr did a great job, and Orlando Scandrick has really emerged as a quality corner. He might be the best defensive player on this team. I think he kind of sets the tone defensively with his physical nature, and I'm not going to put him in like a Richard Sherman kind of category, but I think he fills that same kind of hole for the Cowboys, that same kind of role, where he may not be a shutdown corner, but with his physical play and his ability to make plays on the ball, as we saw, as he's improved his hands, I think he's a difference maker for this team, and I think that defense kind of picks up off of when he's making plays.
Yeah, and up front, I don't know that they've replaced Hatcher yet, but they're getting some play out of Mincy at end.
Yeah, Mincy had a pretty good game, probably his best game of the year.
Yeah, he was a factor on 3 or 4 key plays the other day.
He was. I don't think the pass rush is still consistent enough.
No, it's not where you'd want it to be.
But it's at times it's getting there on some passing downs, on some key passing downs. And listen, say what you want, it's a no-name defense, and it's definitely not perfect. But they've got a bunch of no-name guys coming up and making plays when they need
and they're
plays.
they're not shooting to be Seattle. They want to be middle-of-the-road defense.
Yeah.
And so far, so good. And I think that defense will get a good test. I do think that Seattle offense is legit. And, I'm seeing a game in the 24-20 range. I think they'll hang in.
Right. I think it'll be similar to what we just saw Seattle do on Monday night. They won 27-17 against the Redskins. I do like the Cowboys maybe get to 21 or so, but I think 27-21, 24-20, kind of what you said. That's an ideal score. I don't think Dallas wins, but I do think that they make it closer than a lot of people believe they can.
So as much as our perception changed after that Sunday night win over the Saints, if they win this,
perception changes a lot. You don't want to take anything away from moral victories, but holding close with Seattle kind of would be a moral victory for this team at this point. Yeah,
34-10, 34-7, or something like that would be a major setback.
It would.
But I'm expecting much closer, and I'll be watching. It's the number 1 game for Fox this week.
It is.
The Cowboys have restored themselves to that status, and a lot of it is because of these no-name guys.
Yep.
We'll come back next week, and we'll talk and see how that went in Seattle, and look forward to the rest of the schedule.